All right, here we are, Chapter 8, Leadership in Organizations in the Johnson and Hackman book. Talks about leadership in organizations. I obviously want to be part of an organization, so this interests me. This caught my eye. This is something that I enjoyed. So the first thing, the whole thing that kind of capstones the whole chapter is we view leadership as a verb, not a job. And that's a quote. And, so we dive in chapter. That's kind of what starts us off. And, then they introduce a couple things. The leader as a culture maker. You have to set your culture. I want to coach one day. So obviously, like every coach that comes into a college program or a professional organization, no matter what it is, the leader has to set a culture. You have to set a culture. You have to let your team know, let your group know, let your coworkers know what's acceptable, what's not, what will be accepted, what won't. So I thought that was neat, and then it kind of dove into the elements of organizational culture, which I enjoyed. But kind of the big thing for me was the elements of organizational culture, shaping the culture and creating a learning, trusting culture. And that's kind of important for me is that's the underlying message for me is this is what I noted. I'm going to add to it a little bit. But the underlying message for me, and because I take all this stuff that we do and I try to relate it back to, somewhere where I can use it or somewhere where it's going to be beneficial to me. So being a college coach, obviously all the student athletes want to be able to trust you. They want to be able to know that you're bringing them in there so that they can better themselves. They can get their degree. They trust you. You're going to play them, whatever it is. And they want to trust that you have their back more than anything. And I think that's very important. And I would, when I become a coach one day, I want to create that culture for people. I want people to, trust me as a coach and trust my staff as a coach and want my staff to demand more out of them because we can do that. We can pull strings and we can fight and we can go back and forth because at the end of the day, there's that trust, there's that love there between us that allows us to do those type of things. So as a leader too, we want to be sense makers. I thought that was important to touch on. Sense makers do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, you have to be. It has to make sense to whoever you're asking to do this task or whatever task you're demanding of, whatever it is. So then we talk about the power of expectations, and then they go off that and they go into a few effects and kind of what stems from that. But like I said, the biggest thing for me was shaping the culture. I think that's very true in any organization, business, culture, doesn't matter. You have to shape the culture. You have to set the tone for what's allowed, what you want, what it looks like to work or do whatever. So that was very important to me. Let's see here. I'm going slow on this chapter. The power of expectations. So here's a quote. Organizations are collections of interrelated groups more than collections of separate individuals. So you're more related with your peers than you think when you're in these type of situations. And I think it's very unique. I think it's bold. I think it's out of the box. I think it's all those things that we go into work and we want to talk to our peer. We want to work with our peer. We want our peer to be successful. We want to talk and we want to work through that. So, Chapter 8 was a good one. I really enjoyed it. I hope I covered it well in here, and I'll send this over to you.